So what happens when you think you're muted and you unmute yourself to do your thing, but you're actually not muted, do some really weird throat noise to clear your throat, and then mute yourself for the entire broadcast? Well, we found out this morning I did one of my best shows, which is basically what happens when you do that, and nobody heard it. So what we're going to do to fix that? First off, I'm pressing the button over here to make sure I can hear myself. And we can. So we're going to do a very, very quick run through of the headlines, and you can go through. I will update the. I'll put in the either in the comments or update the description so you get the links to go through the deeper stories. And of course, it is 6:27, so about 2 minutes ago, we posted our newsletter. So you just subscribe to the newsletter and see the links for what's going on there, and we'll try to update the right video. We'll see what happens with audio going forward. So take two very quickly because I still got to get to work, but because everything was missed, we're going to give you a chance to hear what was there, and we'll kind of blank out the stuff. We'll just forget that other thing actually happened. Of course, big thing to remember that today is, of course, Wednesday, May 10th, 2023. Headlines include: jury finds Donald Trump liable in civil sex abuse case versus E. Jean Carroll. The word Carroll got cut off for some reason in that thing. And that is something that we knew was going to happen pretty quickly. The defense rested with no defense. The prosecution or the witness said what she had to say. Donald Trump is not accused of, has not been convicted of rape, but of sexual misconduct. There's a difference. And defamation. There's a difference. Feds file criminal charges against George Santos. Sometime today, he's expected to appear in front of a court in New York City where he will basically find out, what he's actually been charged with. No one quite knows yet. He'll probably plead not guilty. Once he gets that plead and knows what's happening, he can see what it's going on and see the details of the stuff that the people have, and we'll have a case going for it, I guess. We're going to refresh that, make sure I'm still being heard. Because I'm a little paranoid now. Yes. Now I will hush and move on to Dianne Feinstein, set to return to Senate after nearly 3 month absence. She's been recovering from shingles since February. She's been not on her committee, so that means the Republicans have used that as a chance to not pass anything and not let her be replaced. She is not going to run for re-election, so in the next election for Senate, there'll be a new senator from California. There's a lot of people in the Democratic side who are already jockeying for position because essentially it's a toss-up. Although they'll be opposed by someone, we'll see who will be the new senator from California in the next election cycle. Beetlejuice 2, starring Michael Keaton and Jenna Ortega, gets early release. Now, Jenna Ortega will play Lydia's daughter, so the daughter of Winona Ryder. Winona Ryder will be written into the script somewhere, and because you can't have Beetlejuice without Lydia, pretty much. We'll find out what Michael Keaton and Beetlejuice have been doing for all this time. This was actually the top story for the day. Everybody jumped on this one because they cared for this one. The next one, Bob Huggins apologizes for a homophobic slur during a radio show. You got to read the story to go deeper into this. Essentially, he was complaining about the transfer portal, and then he gave a very, very bad slur to try to make his point. Oh, he made a point, all right. We'll see what's happening. It's under investigation at West Virginia at the moment. Kroger will now end its weekly ad mailers for all brands. Kroger is going to end immediately its Kroger brand mailers, and for every one of its brands in its conglomeration will be wrapped up by the end of the year. Now, many other stores have done the same thing, although some have backtracked. Many local grocers stopped doing the mailers, and they've brought them back because people actually seem to love them. Why is Kroger getting rid of them? Because newspaper distribution in paper is not getting what it needs to be. People aren't seeing them in mailers out there. Now, you can, look for them online. You can look for them on your app. People are doing all that stuff and making that work there, but making all that paper costs a lot of money. Vermont bans owning and running paramilitary training camps. Now, you can still go hunting and you can still go trap shooting, do all that stuff. And if you're a law enforcement agency or some sort of security that has an actual license and has some oversight, you're cool. But just putting up a gun range and having people do things because you've got camo and lots of ammo, that's kind of knocked out. This has gotten a big, big, big hand clap from Gabby Giffords, the former representative from Arizona. who is, was attacked by a gun and almost killed in an attack for saying this is a way to get guns out of the hands and all the training out for some of the weird anti peoples out there. So if you own something legitimate, you're fine. By the way, signed by a Republican governor. There you go. A Utah author of book on grieving death charged with murder. An author in Utah who wrote a book on for children on how to grieve with death after her husband died of a fentanyl overdose is being accused of overdosing her husband with fentanyl. Read the story, kids. It's a good one. Very quickly, the other things we have are a teaser story. MTV is shutting down after 30 odd years of MTV News is shutting down after 30 odd years of being on the air, maybe longer actually. Paramount Global is cutting 25% of its staff globally, and MTV News is a casualty of that. So we can talk this one up if you want to follow us on our feeds. That's simply go to facebook.com and twitter.com and follow us on our sites and engage in stories there. Our sponsor for the day was Fundrise. Go to thisitsaconversationproject.com/fundrise and get into real estate the simple way without having to swing any hammers. And I told you last year I lost no money with my investments there. This year, because of the weird dip, I started off on the back end, but I'm slowly gaining back the money that was kind of taken out over that early dip in funds. So good way to get to diversify your portfolio. And if you put in more money, you get more money free because they waive fees for first 30 days. Conversation Project housed at thisistheconversationproject.com. More on us there. Birthdays for today. May 10th birthdays have Chris Berman at 68, Bono at 63, and Keaton Thompson turning 45. History for the day. In 2014, the unidentified remains of victims of the September 11, 2001 terrorist attacks were put to rest in a private depository next to the museum at the World Trade Center Memorial Site. R. Kelly's songs were removed from Spotify playlists after sexual abuse allegations in 2018. And in 2020, the global confirmed cases of COVID-19 at the time hit 4 million. This being just February, March, April, May, 3 months into a pandemic, 4 months into a pandemic. 4 million people have been stricken with COVID. Of course, we're done with the pandemic, still endemic, not quite done with COVID forever. Today is World Lupus Day. Got to get that in because today on May 10, you celebrate, or at least you acknowledge, people who are suffering through this debilitating illness. My mother-in-law suffers from this. I have some coworkers that I work with very closely who suffer from this. So when they flare up, we take it very seriously. Go to the website or just search for World Lupus Day and find out how you can know, how you can kind of contribute to the cause and what to know about the actual disease. And this is something I'm not going to read, so because it's not much time. But essentially, for your memory, the study coming out of Heriot-Watt University found that in calm times, in peaceful times, something called calm resting allows a memory to be implanted into your brain much easier than when you're stressed and going on. So the example I gave earlier was, in Saving Private Ryan, it opens up with that big old war battle, and you think something like that would make you surviving something like that would make it hard to forget those types of things. In actuality, it's not in the moment when things are happening, but when you reflect on them in the quiet times when they actually get implanted on your brain much better. So we are done with a quick route. Maybe we can do this 8 minutes every morning. Maybe this will be the new prototype. Stay hydrated. There's hydration there. Stay limber. Stay on task. So if you came in late because we did it again, just go back and rewatch the video. You'll get all of the pieces that we did in very, very short supply with very, very little context. Maybe it's our new format. Maybe we figured out by screwing up, we need to do it faster. This is pithy. I bet E will love this. But we will see what goes forward. In the meantime, love you much, mean it. Follow us on our feeds on Facebook and Twitter. You see them right there above my head. We're not going to podcast this. So facebook.com, this is Conversation Project, and twitter.com/th_conversation. Vote up stories next for tomorrow, and we'll see how well we screw up tomorrow's story. So thank you.